Hello and welcome to the first official episode of Crunchy Conversations. I'm your host, Lena Elsaya, also known as It's Crunchy Lena on Instagram. Today's guest is Vanessa Young. Vanessa is a mama of 3 and a birth doula. In this episode, we're going to be talking about cloth diapers, and then in the next episode, which you can listen to as soon as you're done with this one, we're going to be talking about birth and everything to do with that and what's it like being a doula. So without further ado, here's my interview with the wonderful, amazing, and so incredibly kind Vanessa. For today's interview, which is the first interview on this podcast, I have with me Vanessa Young. Hey, Vanessa, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, Lena. Sure. I am a mama of 3. I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-month-old. I am also a birth doula, professional musician. I play the harp, and a yoga teacher. And I am a military wife. My husband is in the Army Field Band, and we are based in Maryland right now.
I didn't know you played the harp. That's like super interesting.
Yeah.
Is that something you learned in high school, or is that like...
Yeah, I've been playing for 21 years, and I went to college and grad school and everything for harp. So that's kind of my main career. And then that has sort of led to other paths with yoga and then birth work and all of that.
That is so like interesting and cool. So we met through Instagram and because of cloth diapers. So you cloth diaper your kids.
I do. I cloth diaper my middle one and my youngest one. Right now they're both in diapers. I didn't start with my first. I started with my second, which I guess I'll just jump into that story.
Sure.
A little bit. So my daughter, who's my second, had a horrible rash for pretty much the first year of her life. And we had tried all sorts of medicated creams, every homeopathic type cream. We tried all the different diaper rash creams. We tried different disposable diapers, and it just didn't clear up, or it would clear up momentarily and then come right back. So finally, we got referred to a pediatric dermatologist who recommended that we try cloth diapers, even half-time doing cloth or part-time doing cloth. And so that sort of launched me into the cloth diaper world. And within 24 hours of being in cloth, her rash cleared and never came back. So that just completely got me hooked on cloth diapers.
That's incredible. And I love how the dermatologist recommended that to you. I've never heard of a dermatologist or a doctor in general being aware enough to recommend cloth. That's really cool. I love that.
Right. I know. Now that I look back on it, I am equally impressed that a doctor recommended cloth diapers. And even now our pediatrician who just had his first baby knew that we did cloth. And so his wife and him were interested in trying cloth with their babies. It's cool when the Western medicine world, wants to pick up on some of those more crunchy type of things.
Are you like into a particular brand? What kind of cloth works for your family?
When I first started, it was super overwhelming. I don't know if you found that to be the case.
Yes, I did. There's so many brands and types. Yeah. But I started with a pocket stash. I don't use any pockets at all.
I'm not a fan of pockets either, but I have friends who love them, and that's their whole stash is pockets. Pocket diapers, those are the ones where you stuff them, right? Or they're also called like all-in-twos.
I'm familiar with the Bum Genius pocket diapers. Okay. That's what my entire stash for Dexter was those diapers that they never ended up working for him. They were the rubber outside, which is that PUL or PLU? I always get confused because I worked in a grocery store. So one's the grocery store.
I think the grocery store one is PLU. PUL is the plastic lining that makes it kind of water resistant.
Yeah, and then the inside, there was a piece of microfiber like sewn on, and then there was a slit at the top where you could stuff in whatever you want, and Bum Genius gives you microfiber inserts. I know a lot of people that put natural fibers though in there because they just tend to be more absorbent, but to each their own, whatever works for your baby.
That's a pocket style. And then there's the all-in all-in-ones, which makes up most of our stash because we have mostly smart bottoms. That's what worked with my daughter. And that's what my husband prefers because it's easier for him,
That's
I
what my
think.
fiance prefers too. He loves the smart bottoms all-in-ones. I love the
Yes.
covers, but he loves the all-in-ones.
We are very similar. I like covers and pre-fold more this time around with my youngest son than the all-in-ones. But when my husband or babysitters or my mom or mother-in-law are watching the kids, they prefer the all-in-ones. So that's where it's actually, like we mentioned, the PUL is on the outside and then the insert is all sewn in.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's all combined. There's no like stuffing anything or having to put like a cloth part onto the baby first. And I've learned this time that there's different ways to fold the tongue for girl versus boy.
Yeah, and like specifically with smart bottoms, I don't know if this is applicable to other brands, but specifically with their diapers, I know the boys, you fold them in the front down one, and then you fold it again just to make sure that, you know, their front is all covered. I don't know about the girls. Can you describe that, or do you know about it?
So with my daughter, we just, again, with the smart bottoms one, we just fold in half. I had heard about where you do that same sort of fold, but you double it, or I guess it'd be triple it, more in the middle than towards the front. And I tried that once with her, but she just flooded that a lot more.
Yeah.
So that for her, it's just easier to fold it right in half. But I have heard for girls to fold it in thirds more in the middle than in the front. Then another version is covers, which is just the PUL sort of lining. And then you can use different inserts or different types of absorbent material. So there's the pre-folds, which has more padding already in them, and they're different folds you can use with that. Or there are flat, which is more of, I would say, like the old school, like it's what my grandma used.
That's what we use is flats, because I got a bunch of them from Green Mountain Diapers. I think that's what it is. For on Earth Day. For like, it was like less than $1 a flat. So I bought like 80 of them. They're very multi-purpose. So we use them as diapers, obviously. And then I use them as burp cloths. I'll use them to clean up very like light messes. Like, you know, if the toddler spills his water all over the table, I'm not going to waste a paper towel on that. I just use one of the flats and that's good. I've even used them as like washcloths before in like real desperate moments. Even if you're not going to use them for cloth diapering, I just would think that a couple of them on hand are very useful.
Oh yeah, I would totally agree. I've used them as like makeshift blankets too, and in a pinch if I'm like out and about as well. I think some people even use the old like flour sack or like
that's what we used with my first. It was flour sack towels from Target.
Yeah,
and they worked great.
Another cost-effective way to
because you know, when we had our first, my fiance and I were both still in high school, so we were really stingy with things, so that was the cheapest way to cloth diaper, and then using the covers was also the cheapest, and that's how we did it. But then it ended up really working because Dexter had the skinniest little chicken legs in the entire world. So those double gussets with the smart bottoms covers like really came in handy. I loved it.
Yes, I know. That's what I love with my youngest. We prefer with him Nikki's covers because he is our oddball in that he's a super chunky baby after 2 really skinny little babies. His thighs are just a little too big for the smart bottoms covers, but we love the flats and the pre-folds, especially at nighttime. I use a massive pre-fold for him and then just double it up in the front, so I'm not having to change him and wake him up like every 2 hours throughout the night, even though he's up quite often anyway, breastfeeding.
That's really useful though, because you're having to constantly change diapers. That's what wakes me up. If I'm just having to relatch, I don't really wake up a lot with Scott because we co-sleep.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
You can just let them dream feed, kind of
exactly.
Like prop them on the boob whenever they need it.
And that's the beauty of cloth is that you could put as much absorption as you need at night. So it just works overnight and it's great.
Right. The nice thing with the covers is that you can tailor it, like you said, to what absorbency you need. So like both of our 2 that are in diapers are both heavy wetters. So we have to make sure we have, with my daughter, we have her usually in a cover, like a Thirsties cover with a pre-fold, a booster, and then another hemp insert with a fleece topper thing to make her feel dry overnight, just because otherwise she'll soak through just about any other diaper.
And now, a quick break from the show to talk about one of Earthly's fantastic products. Earthly is a small family-owned company that's dedicated to bringing you and your family only the best products with ingredients that you can find straight from the earth. Each week on the podcast, I'm going to be highlighting one of Earthly's amazing products for you all. And when you buy Earthly products using my link, you're directly supporting the show and helping me to grow and expand this community. Today, I want to talk to you about Earthly's Teeth Tamer, which has seriously been a lifesaver for me. Scott has been teething since he was about 2.5, maybe 3 months old. So it's been a lot of long nights of him crying in pain and just not happy. I've been trying everything with him, from frozen breast milk to homeopathics to even putting essential oils on his gums, and nothing has seemed to work. Luckily, I found Earthly's Teeth Tamer. Earthly's Teeth Tamer is made out of catnip and whole cloves. I like to take a drop of it and put it on my finger and then rub it across his gum. And I also like to give him 2 or 3 drops orally just to calm his whole entire system down. Scott gets excited when he sees the bottle for the Teeth Tamer because he knows it helps him feel better. And within 20 minutes of applying it onto his gums, he's usually asleep or totally chilled out and happy. If you are interested in trying Earthly's Teeth Tamer for your family, please click the link in the show notes page to buy it through me so that you can support this show and help me grow this community. There's a couple of things I want to do for this podcast, like create a website for it, which is going to need some funds. So I really appreciate if you buy Earthly products for me because it helps both of us out. You know, you get an amazing product that you can use for you and your family. You also get to help me support this show and this project and grow it into what I know it can be. If you're interested in buying Earthly's Teeth Tamer or any of Earthly's other amazing products, please click the link in the show notes page. And now, back to the show. How about your wash routine? How often do you wash? What detergent do you use? Give us the down and dirty on the down and dirty. That was so cheesy.
No, I love it. The wash routine is also one of the things that almost had me throw in the towel a couple times with the cloth diapers. And I think probably because we have a front loading LG wash machine, which I have learned so much about wash machines since starting cloth diapering than I ever knew before. And in the future, I will never get a front loading machine again.
You need a top loader with that agitator.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we've learned some tricks along the way because we have 2 in cloth. We have a lot of diapers that we go through, even though we have enough to have both of them get through probably into like the second day or so. We still do cloth diaper laundry every day. We usually toss the diapers in the morning and then they're done by the afternoon or so, or at least like ready to fold and stuff by then. Not that they actually get folded every day.
I never fold my diapers.
Yeah,
I do it in the moment.
That often happens these days now with 3 kids. So just
understandable, very understandable.
Right. So our wash routine, what works for us is we have super soft water, which is something else I didn't even know about water hardness before cloth diapering. With our washer, we do a pre-wash cycle that is delicate because it actually creates more water in the front loading machines, and we have that on warm and high soil, and I put a few squirts of BioClean's back out in there, which is a live enzyme, and then rinse that because you don't want to wash your diapers in like all of that poop pee water that it's doing in that initial pre-wash. And then the main wash we do in our bulk cycle and do to line 2 of Tide Original Powder detergent. And since we don't have the top loading with the agitator, I found these really cool agitating wash machine balls that you put in, and it helps kind of agitate the diapers. We have that, and that cycle is with hot water, especially with having soft water. It needs to be hot so it rinses all of those suds out. And then I do add an extra rinse at the end of that cycle. It ends up being about 2.5 hours total for the wash cycle.
That's not too bad of a length for a wash cycle. I spoke to another mom who basically all day for her. So that's not the worst.
It took a long time to get to that, but we discovered that's what works for us. And that's definitely one thing I've found in the cloth diaper world, that wash cycles differ for every person depending on like your water hardness and what machine you have and what type of diapers you're using and all of those factors.
And how do you guys dry your diapers? Do you put them in a dryer or a line dry?
We put them in the dryer on medium heat so it doesn't overheat the pull. We pull out all of the covers though, and we hang those up on a drying rack, or if we're crunched for time, honestly, most of the time we just drape them over a laundry bin. But then during the summertime, we will put them out in the line if it's a sunny day, just so that we can sun out any stains, which is something cool that I didn't appreciate until cloth diapering, that the sun is a wonderful tool for getting stains out. So yeah, we'll do that often in the summer, but usually we just toss them in the dryer for the sake of time.
We do the dryer too. It's just more time efficient. And I'm one of those people that's really bad with their diaper laundry because I like to go as long as humanly possible. So sometimes I'll start my wash with like 5 diapers left, which is so bad. Such a bad habit, but you know, you got to live on the edge sometimes.
Right. No,
That's how you live on the
absolutely.
edge as a mom.
Right. Well, we definitely did that more when we just had one in diapers. We did
Yeah.
that when just my daughter's in diapers. We would go like 3 or 4 days between washes. But she also can have some pretty smelly output, so we couldn't go too much longer than that. But that's something else that we found with her diapers. Being toddler, she's almost potty trained, but we use, again, the Smart Bottoms liners that we put in, which is another piece of maintaining the diapers and all that. We put the liner in so that when she poops, we can just flop it into the toilet and then throw the liner away. That way we don't have to rinse as much poop out. I don't know what you guys use, but we use the Spray Pal with a sprayer that hooked up to our toilet to spray out poop diapers.
I think that's what most people use. I'm just, again,
Yeah.
I'm adventurous. So with my first, I did dunk and swish. It's great in a pinch. It's great on the go because you don't really have to worry about spraying your diapers or carrying poop with you all the time.
Right.
Most moms that I say this to, they get like really like confused that I'm okay with putting part of the diaper potentially into the toilet, but all goes out in the wash. So I don't really see the, you know, why it's gross to some people, but I mean, I guess I do see why it is gross to some people. It is kind of, it's poop. So it's always gross no matter how you deal with it.
Right. Once or twice where I have just put all of the diaper and everything in the wet bag and have to drive home and the whole car smells like poop. So I would rather do the dunk and swish when we're out and about. And then the nice thing is, I know we're both breastfeeding our little ones, exclusively breastfed babies. You just toss their poop diapers right into the diaper pail or whatever you use to hold the diapers before doing the laundry, and it washes right out because breastfed poop is water soluble. It makes me not want to give him solid food.
I know.
Which sounds horrible, but I'm like, I don't have to do anything with these poop diapers. I just toss them in the pail.
It's so easy and simple. And I cloth diapered my first starting at about 3 months old. But if I had known that I could just throw the breastfed poop into the washer machine from the get-go, I would have definitely done a newborn stash with him. I did a newborn stash this time around, and it's just the funnest thing in the entire world.
Isn't it?
To put a cloth diaper on a little fresh baby bum. Like, the first diaper that was ever on his bum was Dragon Dreams. Getting to see my midwife put that on him and then like hold him in my bed because we had home birth. It's just like those little things, you know, that count when you're a mom.
Totally. Yeah, we did cloth from day one this time with Leo. We had his first one was, I want to say, Horizons. Is that the red and orange striped one?
Yeah, Jack or is that Highland?
Yeah.
No, that's Highland. I remember because
Highland?
I bought it because of the name, because I have a Highlander.
Oh,
So I wanted the Highland print. That was one of Jack's favorites from the newborn. He loves like color progression like that. It's a pretty one. It really is.
Yeah, it is. But yeah,
I saw you guys had the Leo swaddle for him and stuff, which I thought was so cute because his name's Leo. That's so perfect.
Leo the lion. Yeah, he has
so
all
cute.
the lion things, the family pride, everything in that print.
It's like, what's the point of being named Leo if you're not going to be wearing lion things all the time, you know?
Right? Yeah. Yeah, he literally has anything and everything you could find with lions on it.
That's
so
so
anytime I see a cloth diaper print, whether it's Smart Bottoms or something else, I always have to get it for him.
those are certain things.
Well, and one thing I wanted to say too about cloth diapering newborns is that, first of all, it's awesome to have them in cloth. Like Leo has been in nothing but cloth so far his whole first 3 months of life. But it also varies depending on your baby how long they're in the newborn. So for him, since he's a chunky baby, I was hoping that he was going to be tiny, or I assumed he would be tiny and that he'd be in the newborn stash for a while, but he only lasted 3 or 4 weeks in the newborn stash. But one of the benefits of cloth is that you can get cloth diapers used, which might sound kind of gross to people who have never cloth diapered. You can sanitize used cloth diapers or whatnot and reuse them for multiple babies and get a lot of use out of them. One of the benefits is it's cost effective usually to use cloth diapers because you can use them for multiple kids and you can sell them and you can buy used ones, and yeah, it ends up being great. Of course, if you find a lot of different prints that you like, I think my husband would probably argue that it hasn't 100% been cost effective for us.
I've definitely gotten better with the second kid, but the first, yikes.
Right. Yeah, same here.
It's fun. And then just to speak on being able to reuse them with other kids, that's been a really big bonding thing for Dexter with Scott. He gets to see his old diapers on Scott, and I'll go on Instagram and show Dexter a picture of him in that exact diaper, and I think it makes him feel more connected, and that he was also cared for the same way that Scott's being cared for when he was a baby. I really love that benefit of it. They almost become a very weird family heirloom. I'm gonna save these and I'm going to give them to my kids, and if they want to use them on my future grandkids, if I have grandkids one day, that would just be the icing on my cake,
Yes, absolutely. That was a big piece for Oriana as well, with when Leo sized out of his newborn diapers. She's still in her all-in-one sizes. I had her go through the entire stash that we had, and I let her pick out which one she was ready to give to him to use, which was really special because she got to pick out, these ones were her favorite ones, and she's super girly. I always thought that if I have a girl someday that I am not super girly, so that's been kind of new to me, but she likes all of the super pink and flowery ones. So she picked all those prints, and then it was cute to see which ones she liked. And now that her favorite thing is to pick out which diaper Leo gets to wear. As soon as we wake up in the morning, she wants to pick out his diaper, and she wants to always pick out which one I put on him whenever we have a diaper change. So it's a fun bonding thing for siblings, for sure.
That's so cute. What would you say her favorite print is?
It changes often, but her top 3 are the Sweet Adventure from Little Tulip, and that's Smart Bottoms print, which she calls her candy diaper.
That's appropriate name.
Right. And then Sprinkles, the donut print, because she loves
Sprinkles.
Donuts. So yeah, those two are very worn. We got both of those new, and they already have a little bit of first layer holes and stuff on those sides. Yeah. So she wears them every time they're clean. And then Harmony's her other favorite one.
Oh, that's the panda one, right? Yeah.
Yep.
What's your favorite print?
It changes so often. The one that I have in a blanket as well is Fido, because there's a dog on there that looks like our dog. So I'd have to go with that one.
Yeah, Fido's cute. It's a nice little puppy print.
How about for you?
Far Out. It's been Far Out for years.
Oh, really?
That was my favorite with Dexter. I have so many of them. I think I have 3 or 4 Far Out diapers, and then I have the Far Out haversack. I didn't get the Far Out leggings or headband or anything. I really want a Far Out blanket though for Scott. Recently, she ran a line of them.
Right.
Which is
anyone who's not into Smart Bottoms is probably what
are you? Who is she? She's Rachel Lanes from Dyson Duds. That's who.
Right. Which is in Maryland, by the way, which always makes me
that's so cool. Love to live somewhere where we had a cool cloth diaper boutique. I live in New York, and I live fairly close to the city. It's just an hour train ride for me. But there's no cloth diaper boutiques in New York City. You'd think.
Really? Wow.
But no, it's really, there was one in like my area in another town, but they closed down really like quickly, which was kind of
Okay.
sad. But yeah, there's
Yeah.
no natural parenting stuff around here. The only place I ever was able to buy cloth diapers in store was Bye Bye Baby when they were a thing, and
Okay.
MommyCon.
Things moved so much to online. It's hard for some
Yeah.
of these small scale shops and such to stay afloat.
So is there anything
Um,
else like particular to cloth diapering that you want to talk about?
We should maybe mention how they're stored sometimes,
Oh
or how
yes,
you can
good
store dirty
idea.
ones. So I don't know how you guys store yours, but we use wet bags when we're out and about. With 2 in cloth, we use the larger on the go size,
Yeah.
or like we like the, I never know if I say it right, the lullaby,
Yeah, like
or
the
lullaby
lullaby
baby.
baby.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
like theirs because they have a wet dry option for theirs. And then at home, we have a tall hamper that we put a pail liner in. The liner has a PUL in it, so it keeps the wet diapers contained or whatnot. I prefer that because then when we go to do diaper laundry, you just have to take the diaper pail liner and flip it inside out and don't actually have to touch any of the dirty diapers.
We do something
So,
similar. We just use the pail liner. I tried
okay.
doing a diaper pail. It's just the most obnoxious thing in the entire planet. I couldn't tolerate it. So I just
Yeah.
have the wet bag on the floor and throw them in there. Same here. We use on the go wet bags. I think that's just the easiest way to store them,
Hmm.
and they're reusable, and you can
Yeah.
get them in prints that match your diapers, so why not?
Just add to the prints that you can buy
Yeah,
things
just hoard
in.
them.
Right.
um
And then when we're
yeah.
traveling, we've used the hanging wet bags, which we actually use the hanging wet bags for the kids' dirty clothes as well for laundry, just because it makes it easier keeping them somewhat as organized you can be with 3 kids. And then I was just going to mention different resources that
Sure,
I like to
yeah.
use. The website that I kind of reference anytime I need to check in with any information on cloth diapers is All About Cloth Diapers. And my favorite thing that they have resource wise is they have a long list of different diaper rash creams that work for cloth diapers, because that was something that I learned. Not all can be used with cloth diapers. I love that. And then since we were talking about wash routines and everything, I found Facebook, there's a group, Cloth Diaper Wash and Care, which has been helpful in the past for me and just troubleshooting some issues before we came to what our wash routine is that works for us. I mentioned before that we were using the Tide powder, which did not like having to end up with that detergent. I tried pretty much every type of natural detergent out there first, but for us, none of them really worked to get the diapers clean enough. So that's what we ultimately had to use. But
And I figure you're like cutting out enough chemicals by not using the disposables that if you need to
right,
use the Tide, it kind of cancels it out. I feel like Tide is
exactly.
very popular amongst the diaper community, and I know some of the crunchiest moms who use Tide because that's just what works and what works the best. I've had
Yeah.
luck recently with Target's Everspring brand of detergent. It's
Really?
a liquid detergent, and it's been working really good for us, but we'll see how it holds up to solids when we get there.
When you get there?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
I'd
a
be
whole other
curious.
knock on wood, which I don't have, that it works.
Yeah, when I was trying to figure out and trying all the natural detergents, it made me feel better too when I talked with my 98-year-old grandmother who cloth diapered all 4 of her kids. And she was like, just use the Tide, Vanessa. She's like, it worked for us. It will work for you. And she was right. So I'm like, I should just listen to, generations before.
Thank you so much for listening to the first episode of Crunchy Conversations. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of my interview with Vanessa Young. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, in part 2, we're going to be talking about Vanessa's career as a birth doula and what led her into that. I'm going to leave a link in the show notes page to Vanessa's Instagram page, as well as her website, where she has some fantastic blog posts, and her birth story with Leo is actually on there. It's so great. Go read it. Please don't forget to follow Crunchy Conversations on Instagram and Facebook, both at Crunchy Conversations. You can also follow me, your host, Lena, at It's Crunchy Lena on Instagram or on Facebook. I hope you enjoyed this first episode. Now, go click onto part 2 of my interview with Vanessa. I'll see you there.